Over this Easter weekend, the only outdoor activity we've been allowed to do is exercise. It's no doubt helped many, me included, to stop going nuts. But a common question I keep on getting is how safe is exercising outdoors?
There's no one else around. I think that's fine outdoors. But if there's lots of people exercising close by, that may not be as safe.
And the big question is, what's really a safe distance? Now, a warning, this next bit is really going to keep you away from your fellow exercisers. The COVID-19 virus spreads through droplets, and when we sneeze or cough, those droplets form an explosive cloud. A recent study found that cloud can linger in the air for several minutes and travel as far as 8 meters. Yep, it's gross. And some researchers concluded that heavy breathing and panting from exercise could have similar droplet propulsion.
It's quite plausible that because you're breathing more heavily when you're exercising, you pose a slightly higher risk to others because you're expelling more particles, and indeed you yourself are at slightly higher risk because you're taking these deeper breaths.
It doesn't mean that we need to give up running, but we do need to be prepared to swerve.
Imagine that everyone is smoking, and think about it that way. If you were standing right next to a smoker and they puffed in your face, you'd inhale a lot of smoke. If you're standing 6 feet away, you'll inhale less, and if you're standing 12 feet away, you'll inhale even less than that. And maybe even consider exercising in a face mask, which particularly will protect others from you, because while it won't block everything, it will block some of that flying exhalation.
Other countries, like the US, recommend wearing a mask in public. But as we've pointed out before, Australian authorities have been worried about wasting a scarce resource which is needed for health workers and patients with COVID-19. The World Health Organization warns that using a mask on its own is insufficient protection. But that's not to say that masks don't work.
People can be infectious without any symptoms, and that means if they're wearing a mask, the chance of them spreading it on to someone else is reduced. There's been some modelling studies that have shown that even if the face mask is only 20% effective, if half the population wears the mask, it can actually have a quite significant impact on flattening the curve.
If you do wear a mask, you should use it correctly. It should be all the way up to the bridge of your nose and well under your chin. If it's sitting below your nose or exposing your chin, your mask isn't doing its job. And what it's made out of is just as important as how you wear it. In 2011, Professor McIntyre and her colleagues studied doctors and nurses in Vietnam. Some wore cloth masks, the others wore surgical masks, and a control group didn't wear any. Surprisingly, those who wore cotton masks were more likely to be infected.
With any cloth mask, you do have to wash them at least daily. If you've got a particularly absorbent fabric, they can become quite moist and warm, and any sort of moist, warm environment is ideal for bacteria or viruses to grow.
So that's masks. What about gloves? Well, there's nothing special about a glove if you're careless and touch your face, or if they contaminate your hands when you take them off and don't sanitize immediately.
As long as people are given the right education on how to use gloves properly, I think it can help in some situations, particularly going to a big supermarket to do grocery shopping.
Supermarkets have taken steps to make shopping safer, like wiping down trolleys and policing how many people are in the store at a time. But what about all that touching? Researchers have looked at how long the virus lasts on surfaces by measuring its half-life.
We found that on steel, the half-life is between 4 and 6 hours, roughly. So that means if someone coughs on a steel subway pole, 4 to 6 hours later, half of what they coughed is no longer infectious. We found a slightly longer half-life on plastic of 6 to 8 hours, and on cardboard we found a slightly shorter one of sort of 2 to 4.5.
So
there is a risk, but it's no reason to stop doing the shopping.
So we know that lots of people touch things on the supermarket shelves and, take them off and have a look and put them back, handle the fruit to feel which one's ripe and not ripe, etc. So I think, fruit and vegetables, washing it in soap and water is probably a good idea.
So keep your distance, give joggers a wide berth, wear a non-absorbent mask in public if you'd like to help COVID control, and when grocery shopping, stay alert.
Hi, I'm Lee Sales. Thanks for watching this story. If you'd like to watch more of 7:30's stories, they are on the left of your screen. And tap on the button below to subscribe and get the latest from ABC News.